recorded live at 4ZZZ Studios, Meanjin, Brisbane.
On 102.1 FM.
And broadcast across Australia on the Community Radio Network.
You're listening to Zed Games.
Zed Games brings you the best in gaming news, reviews, community and culture. Want to reach out?
Share your hot take?
Or do you just want to share your favourite game?
Find us on socials at Zed Games AU.
Welcome to Zed Games here on 4ZZZ. My name is Hazel and I am your only host tonight. As you may be aware, we lost a co-host very recently. Our dear friend Cameron passed away unexpectedly. We've got a couple of game reviews and we've got the weekend gaming news coming up right now from our fearless leader, Zahra.
This week in gaming news, the Legoland of Zelda. The Great Deku Tree, a wise and monotonous figure in the Legend of Zelda series, can be in your home after significant assembly for the low price of $450. Oh yeah, this is a big one. With 2,500 bricks, it stands at about 33 centimeters tall once constructed. Not only that, it's a 2-in-1 build, with one mimicking the tree's form in Ocarina of Time, and the other taking after Breath of the Wild. Basically, one has green leaves, the other has pink blossoms. Included with the build are figures for both versions of Link and Zelda, Hestu, and some Koroks, and there's even a little side build that your kids can put together while you put the tree together. Rainbow Six Siege subscription. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege, the online tactical shooter, will be changing to a monthly subscription system, and the news has not made Ubisoft very popular. The change was announced during Blast, Rainbow Six Major in Manchester, with quite a few boos in the audience. You can opt for a cool $10 a month or $80 a year, giving you access to exclusive monthly content drops, legendary items, access to the premium battle pass, and a lot more. You also get to skip 10 levels each month. This is a separate purchase to each season's battle pass. Diablo be damned. Diablo 4 update released and version 1.4.1 has had some teething issues. The update was supposed to balance some areas of the game and fix up a few bugs, but instead it disabled masterworking, an endgame crafting system that was only added recently. If the fixes worked, then masterworking was only meant to become cheaper, costing less gold. Oops. Lol, $400. League of Legends has released some special tribute bundles dedicated to the newest addition to Riot's Hall of Fame's Lee Faker Seanghyuk. These bundles aren't new and often contain skins for the heroes, finishes, cosmetic items, currency, and more. The three bundles are called the Risen Legend Collection, the Immortalized Legend Collection, and the Signature Immortalized Legend Collection, going for $60, $375, and almost $680 respectively. It does contain our final boss Faker title, themed signature move, 100 pass levels, and more, although some fans commented that they expected an Ari statue to be included for that price. What can 700 million get you? Not Star Citizen, that's for sure. Star Citizen, in development by Cloud Imperium Games, is a multiplayer game based around trading and combat simulations. It was originally announced in 2012 when the Kickstarter launched and was concluded successfully, raising $6 million, with an estimated release date in June 2014. During development, modules of the game have been released to tide-over fans, but the extended development time has garnered a lot of criticism. Through the sale of ships, ranging in price from $20 to a few grand, and crowdfunding, Cloud Imperium Games has managed to raise over $700 million. So, maybe a release date is within the foreseeable future. I doubt that though. And news nibbles. Destiny 2 The Final Shape is upon us, and fans seem to be pretty hype about it. The newest trailer shows that yes, Cayde 6 is alive, and we've known that for a while, but also Zavala appears to be having a continuation of his midlife crisis. In unrelated news, I'm still in love with Ikora. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 will be coming to Game Pass at launch, so you could get that COD fix for a fraction of the price. Days of Play is here, Running until June 12th, it's Sony's season of sales, and coming with it will be an assortment of bonus games for premium members, which includes PSVR 2 games like Walkabout Mini Golf and Ghostbusters, Rise of the Ghost Lord, or PS2 games like Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus. Speaking of game events, we've got Summer Games Fest and Devolver Direct on the 8th of June, Wholesome Direct, Women-Led Games Showcase, Latin American Game Showcase, and Future Game Show on the 9th of June, Ubisoft Forward, Xbox Games Showcase, and PC Gaming Show on the 10th, and of course, most importantly, the Queensland Games Festival at the Brisbane Powerhouse on the 22nd of June. And now for some upcoming games. May 30th, that's today, brings Horizon Chase 2 for the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, and Umbra Claw for the PC. June 3rd brings The Elder Scrolls Online, Gold Road for the PC. June 4th brings Life by You for the PC, Destiny 2 The Final Shape for the PC, PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, Star Wars Hunters for the Android and Switch, Killer Clowns with a K from Outer Space, the game, for the PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S. That's it this week in gaming news.
Thank you so much for the week in gaming news, Zahra. You're listening to Zed Games here on 4ZZZ. My name is Hazel and I'm your host for tonight. But I'm about to throw it over to my friend Maylee, who's hitting us with a review of a adorable little puzzle game called Railbound.
I don't play a lot of puzzle games because I'm not very good at them. I find myself frustrated and confused quite easily, if I'm being honest. But recently, I've challenged myself to branch out into this area. At first, I avoided any puzzle games that were considered really difficult because I thought I would struggle with them too much and be turned off completely. I have been enjoying myself more than I expected to though, so I finally decided I could do something more challenging. That's not why I chose Railbound though. I had already decided to purchase this game when I realised that it was a bit more difficult. So what was the factor that won me over? Well, the cover features 2 dogs driving a train. I mean, who wouldn't want to assist a canine conductor on his cross-country journey? So, did I uncover a secret puzzle-solving brilliance within myself? No, I struggled with Railbound. The puzzles were hard, but I never got frustrated or overwhelmed, so I'm pretty happy to recommend it to anyone, no matter your puzzling prowess. But I'm getting ahead of myself. What is Railbound? Railbound is a comfy, track-bending puzzle game about a pair of dogs on a train journey around the world. Each level presents a pre-built map with interconnected tracks, junctions, and train cars scattered around. Your goal is to guide these numbered train cars to their designated stations in the correct order. With a limited number of your own tracks to put down, you'll need to carefully plot a path between the pre-existing track and around obstacles. Levels are grouped into worlds, and each world introduces a new mechanic like tunnels, railgates, or switching tracks that keep things interesting. Later worlds combine these mechanics to create wonderfully challenging puzzles. There's no time limit for completing a level, and you can undo moves as many times as you need. In fact, many times I only figured out the solution by letting the incorrect one play out first. Several times. Failure is a great teacher. The team behind Railbound put a big focus on accessibility and incorporated features that would make the game enjoyable for all players. Bonus levels, which are significantly more difficult, are offered as variations of the base levels. You do not need to play these unless you're looking for that extra challenge, so most players can simply stick to the main path and come back at their leisure. Additionally, if the main path ever gets too difficult, you have the option to simply unlock all levels at once and skip past what you're stuck on. This is also handy for multiple people playing on one device, or one person on multiple devices. If you aren't extreme enough for the bonus levels but don't want to skip any levels either, Railbound also features an optional hint system. When turned on, you'll be given suggestions on where to place a few key tiles. It always managed to push me in the right direction, but never gave me the whole solution, so I still felt really satisfied when I figured it out. The world of Railbound is charming and colourful. The cheerful aesthetic and gentle music kept me feeling relaxed no matter how stumped I was on a puzzle. It offers more than 150 levels, so you'll have several hours of gameplay depending on how good you are at puzzle solving. The difficulty ramps up majorly by the end of the game, but it's a very gradual incline, so you ease into it. So if you want a puzzle game that's challenging and comfy at the same time, Railbound is a hell of a ride. You can pick it up on Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, Nintendo Switch, and Xbox.
Thank you so much for that review, Maylee. Railbound looks amazing, and I'm actually thinking about picking it up myself after this. But coming up next, we have got a review of a game called Cryptmaster by our dear co-host and friend, and everything else, Paul.
Yes, I can hear you.
Good. I'm calling to you from beyond the veil that separates the living and the dead. You're on the dead side.
Cryptmaster, by developers Lee Williams and Paul Hart, is an old-school, tile-based, first-person dungeon crawler with a twist. It's all about words. So pull out your favorite mechanical keyboard. It's time to get typey. You awaken a party of 4 heroes, now dead. Well, undead. The Cryptmaster who drew you back into the world tasks you with escaping the underground and bringing them along for the ride. A few things will strike you about Cryptmaster immediately. Firstly, the game is presented in high contrast black and white. I found it gorgeous and the environments never suffered from a lack of colour. Character portraits along with enemy and NPC designs are delightful, highly detailed, expressive and creative. Meeting someone new is always a treat visually and audibly as a large and varied cast of voice actors inhabit the world. Led of course by the Cryptmaster, who is voiced by one of the 2 lead developers, Lee Williams. He's a funny, charming and responsive character. It would be impossible for them to respond intelligently to every prompt you type, but that didn't stop them trying. For the entire length of the game, you will be stumbling on new interactions. All of the game's mechanics are based around words. Combat involves typing in the skills of your characters to perform, such as hit. Actions have a cooldown per character, and as the game progresses, you'll get complications, like shields, and conditions, like immunity to attacks that use certain letters. For instance, you're ready to drop a nuke on a turtle's head? Sorry, that turtle can't be hit by the letter N. Looks like you'll have to use tickle instead. How do you uncover your character's skills though? Well, you simply need to discover the word. There's a linear progression, so you'll need to discover each word in order. You'll see the number of letters of the next word, so you just need to type it in. Since there are, however, several words in the English language, I wouldn't suggest trying to brute force the solutions. Hope is not lost though, as every time you defeat an enemy, you can pick a letter, or letters if you're on an easier game mode, from their name and it will reveal any matching letters in the next unlocks for your party. Wheel of Fortune style. Letters are your reward for most activities in the game. If you find a chest, you'll get a game with the Cryptmaster where you can ask a few questions to work out what the object inside is. Do you get the object? No. You do get all the letters though.
Ooh, this little fellow looks strangely familiar. What are we going to do with it?
Taste it.
It tastes furry and rather disagreeable. What next?
Give it a smell.
It smells of musk and sewers. What will we do with it?
Give it a cuddle.
Yes, I think it likes me. Okay, no more playing with it. Time to guess. Do you all remember what this thing is called?
It's a rat.
A rat. Yes, that's what it's called.
There are also skulls to find, which will ask you a riddle to answer. Failing isn't really that big of a deal, but I still never wanted to give up before I'd worked out the riddle for myself. There are many other mechanics to discover, including a card game within the game, but I don't need to cover the details all here. When you start Cryptmaster, you're given a choice of real-time or turn-based gameplay. Real-time is recommended and the game feels more balanced towards it. Knocking out a quick word for an attack feels more impactful. That said, I didn't play most of the game in real time. In fact, in my case, it recommended I play turn-based. This is also a reason why it took me much longer to play through the game than the average playtimes. How long to beat suggests 10 hours, but I was closer to 20. What reason was this? Oh well, I decided to play this typing game on a gamepad. The Steam Deck to be specific. Why would I do this? Well, first a quick diversion. Another feature of this game is the ability to play with your voice. I thought this would work well with the Steam Deck, but after installing the game, I discovered it uses Microsoft's voice recognition, so it wouldn't work on the Linux-based Steam Deck. Since it was already installed though, I thought I'd start it anyway. I simply was having too much fun. I knew it would be better with a keyboard, but there were some concessions made for the gamepad, like turning on autocomplete for words you had already typed. It was much slower even with that option, but I couldn't help myself. I had other more handheld appropriate games to play, and yet I just kept playing it. Word puzzles are fun. The game was charming and funny, but I just wanted to see the next thing. Now, if you were to ask me, is Cryptmaster a tightly designed game paced out to demand the player pay close attention and be strategic with their play? Nah, not really. Several of the core systems, like magic resources, aren't explained well initially, mapping the larger areas can be a bit of a hassle, and most of the time it's pretty easy. But you know what? I don't get stressed playing Wordle either. I like playing with words, I like riddles, I like jokes. The game is really geared around letting you have fun, whatever that means for you. The settings are filled with options for hints, extra guesses, more letter rewards, among others. The options are very robust and worth tinkering with. For instance, the chest hints revealed letters each time you asked a question. I hated this, so I turned it off straight away. Choice is good! I could rant about this game much longer. I haven't even mentioned the soundtrack by Surashu, which is both inventive and goes surprisingly hard. It's a game packed with charm and accessible gameplay that tickled the lexicographile in me. That's a word. You can find Cryptmaster on PC for around $35. Also, you can play the game in Spanish if you're so inclined.
Thank you for that review, Paul. You're back in the studio with me, Hazel. You're listening to Zed Games here on 4ZZZ, and it is time for the end of our show. I've had a great time here with you tonight.
Thanks for listening to Zed Games. If you'd like to listen to more, you can find us on the Community Radio Plus app
Or find us on socials at ZED Games AU.
See you next time.